Well, we have a couple of minutes here, but I'll go ahead and introduce myself. I am Linda Wilkins. I'm a state missionary with the Mission Board. I work in communications, and I work mainly with the social media, which makes sense, because that is what this session is about, right? So we are actually live streaming this, and it's going to be on our Facebook page. So in the event you miss any information, go right to our Facebook page or join our communications ministry group, which I would love to have you, and I can accept you today if you join today. So I can do it as you join right now, but it will be there as well. So let's see. We probably have a few more people coming in, so they want me to get a count of how many people come in. So I'll do that like a teacher. So where are you all from? Well, Georgia. Where from in Georgia?
Mary. Dublin.
Mary? Dublin? Okay. Okay. Where's from?
Milburn.
Milburn? Okay. I've heard of those.
Lawrence County.
Dublin. Lawrence County Baptist Association.
Okay. Great. Okay. Cool. Oh, I've got it. It's right here. Is that okay? Where I put it? Or does it need to be? Okay.
Yeah, you get it.
All right. So I guess I will go ahead and get started. Let me count how many people are in here. $22. All right. That's a good number. Okay. Job's done. Is there a Brenda in here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just joined the group. Great, I see. Oh, I see it right now. Very nice, thank you. I'm excited because it's a fairly new group.
Is that the live stream address up there?
You can find the live stream in this group. Yes, ma'am. You can also find it on the Georgia Baptist Mission Board page. So it's in 2 different places for you guys. Oh, added 2. I'll count at the end. And what I'll also do, all the PowerPoint slides that I go through, I know there's a lot of information here. I will upload that into this communications group as well. So you will have all of these resources just in case, and you can ask any questions that you have along the way. I love questions, I love discussion, so that's all good for me. All right. I'm going to approve everyone. Awesome. I love it. We just started this group, so I'm really pumped about it. All right. So, it is almost 3. I'll wait a couple more minutes before we officially get started, but I'll put it on our session title here. So before we get started, I am curious, what kind of social media do your churches or your ministries currently have?
Facebook, Instagram,
Okay.
WhatsApp.
Okay. Great.
We've got a website and Facebook
Okay.
already.
Facebook.
We're just Facebook, website, we're just now starting trying to stream besides my monopod with my phone on it.
Okay. Like a live stream?
Live stream was
Okay.
slow last week, we both were like, nobody could.
Gotcha. Okay. Are you gonna go to John's session with the live
Yes,
stream?
I'm gonna go to
Great.
that.
I recommend that one for sure. Okay. Awesome. What else do you guys have?
Most of it is Facebook and
Facebook?
websites, yeah.
Great,
Trying to figure
okay.
out the other one.
Okay.
Facebook, Instagram, we're working on the website and we're trying to get into YouTube.
Okay. Great. YouTube. That's a value for sure. All right. So we'll go ahead and get started. If you guys have any questions as I go, please feel free to ask. Sometimes I get really excited about this stuff, and it's a lot of good information. So if you need to stop me, and we'll address your question, because chances are someone else in the room has the same question. All right. So, first of all, do you need a presence on a social network? What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. All right. Well, that's really good, because that's what I think too. There are some things to consider here. Nearly everyone has a presence individually, right, on a social network. There are people on those networks who exist who you may never ever meet in person, but you can connect with them through the Facebook page or through a different social network. And I think for us as Christians, it's a really cool idea because we're called to go and make disciples, and social networks, social media can be a tool to bring those people in and to make those connections. It can be a thorn in your side, though. That's why you want to do it well, because if you don't, or you fall into a rut, things can go south pretty fast. But we'll talk about how to avoid that. So we want the benefits to be good. We want it to be a beneficial tool. All right. So we're going to talk through a couple of the different types of social networks. Some of you are probably already familiar with these, especially Facebook. That's what I've heard most of you say, Facebook and website, and Instagram, which is interesting. Do any of you have a Twitter account? You have some Twitter? Okay. Okay, cool. So we want to look at some stats here on Facebook. Facebook is by far the most popular network. And I think, how many of you have an individual Facebook profile? Almost everyone, right? Okay. As of a year ago, there were 2 billion monthly active users of the platform and 1 billion daily active users. Trends show that these numbers are only increasing. 83% of women, 75% of men use the platform. Ages 18 through 29 are the most prevalent users. However, those over 65 are more likely to use Facebook than any other platform. As you guys probably know, it has numerous tools. It has video you can do live. You can upload from your phone, from your laptop. You can link to YouTube, Vimeo. You can do images. You can take them through the app, upload them from your phone, from the computer, create albums. Has a lot of interaction, and that's what makes it a social network, right? You've got your pages, business pages, your groups. You can tag, you can comment, you can post events, and then you can also create notes, which act as kind of like a blog. So there are a lot of different tools through Facebook, and I think very often we just touch the surface of what Facebook can offer us. So we're going to look into that a little bit more in a little bit. So the next platform, and I'm also going through these in like declining popularity. So Facebook was the most popular. Twitter is the next one. So Twitter is a microblogging tool. How many of you have Twitter accounts? Okay, so a little bit fewer. Fun fact, it is very fast paced. When you tweet, that tweet only has a life of about 18 minutes and then it's dead. So Twitter is one that you have to maintain a little bit more than Facebook. This one has 330 million monthly active users, but 3 billion account holders. And it's quickly becoming a customer service tool. So people have started using Twitter to contact businesses, contact churches, contact ministries to say, hey, I actually had a problem with this, or I have a question about this. So it's becoming a one-to-one engagement tool. 18 to 29 is the most prevalent age group on this service as well. But you can see the difference here in the numbers. So Facebook had 83% of women, 75% of men that use Facebook. Twitter has 24% of men, 25% of women who use the platform. So there's a definite difference in popularity there. But there are a lot of tools on Twitter as well. You've got your hashtags. You can tag, direct message, you can retweet, you can like, and you can also host videos. And in some cases, you can actually do live videos. We have not ventured into live videos on Twitter because we prefer Facebook. And it's fairly new, so it's a newer tool. Alright, so the next platform we want to talk about is Instagram. So several of you mentioned that you already have Instagram accounts. So Instagram is a video image sharing platform owned by Facebook. So it's kind of cool because you can link your Instagram directly to your Facebook page. It's convenient, and it's really neat because you can actually respond to comments on Instagram through Facebook. So that's kind of cool. This has 600 million active users Again, 18 to 29 is the most prevalent age group on this platform. This one has 26% of men, but 38% of women on the platform, so that's where you see the biggest difference. Women tend to incline towards Instagram a little bit more than men. This has tools available on the platform, and some of these are fairly new, and there have actually been some algorithm changes on Instagram, which we can talk about a little bit later. So Instagram, you can have a public profile, a private profile, or a business profile, which is how you get all your statistics for who comes to your Instagram or likes or responds to your post. You can do advertising for businesses. The next tool, IGTV, is fairly new. This is sort of like your Instagram story, but it's different because you can upload a 10-minute long video, but they have to be vertical, which is an interesting challenge because more often they recommend having a horizontal video, but Instagram demands a vertical one. So that's interesting. Otherwise, you can post up to a 1-minute long video. You can post your galleries, and you can also do hashtags. And Instagram is neat because you can actually follow a hashtag and make a hashtag trending. So that's a cool tool that we've started to explore at the Mission Board. Now there's one more platform that I want to talk about, and chances are you may not have one. How many of you have a LinkedIn account for your church or ministry? Okay, you got one? Okay, so not many. What about personally? You have LinkedIn? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Great. So LinkedIn is a little bit different because it's geared straight for professionals. So as the Mission Board, we do have a LinkedIn profile because we want to connect with the pastors or people who work in ministry across Georgia, right? So it makes sense for us to have that page. This platform has 467 million registered users. 18 to 29 and then 30 to 49 are the most prevalent age groups. So you've got a wider age group at the top there. 31% of men and 27% of women are on the platform. And there are a lot of different tools that you can use as well. You can have a business page, which is what the Mission Board has. You can have a business group. We also have one of those. You can have your private profile. More of you guys have those. You can upload videos, you can share links and images, and it's also used as a blogging tool. Again, professionally, but it's one way to reach people with different ideas. Do any of you have questions about that? Those are kind of the basics. Am I going too fast for anyone? Okay, cool.
I got a question.
Yes.
Now, I've got younger people in our church that deal with the Facebook thing and all, but I've seen people commenting about, you said the word algorithm a while ago.
Yeah.
Facebook has monkeys with that some way. How do you prevent that from working against your Facebook account?
Absolutely.
Do you understand what I'm saying? How
Oh,
can
yeah.
how can you deal with that?
Oh yeah, that is actually something that marketers, especially, have been impacted by. So anyone who has a Facebook page is going to be affected by that. So here's what happened. Back in January, Mark Zuckerberg posted a status that said, hey, you guys have been complaining a lot about spam, bad articles you don't really want to see, all of that. So here's what we're going to do. Instead of promoting businesses and pages, and that's the key word there, we are going to start promoting your friends' content, your family content, and your groups, Facebook groups. And I'd like to talk a little bit more about that too. So with that, basically, if you do not buy ads on your Facebook page, chances are people aren't going to see them. So what basically happened, they said your pages aren't going to be seen anymore, even if you've got a lot of followers. So January 1, our Mission Board Facebook page, I saw a dip. Like just almost immediately posts that would reach several hundred people just hit the floor because we weren't buying ads, but we really don't want to, right? We want to be good stewards and don't really have a budget to boost every single post, right? And our engagement was lacking. So the ways that you want to combat that is all about engagement. and Facebook groups. And I would love to talk about that, and that actually works well with the next point. How do you maintain your social networks? So most of you already have something set up in place for maintaining your networks, but here's what we recommend. First, you need to decide what networks you need. So what kind of audiences do you think you guys are looking at, like for your church and your ministry? Like what kind of people?
Who we want or who we have.
Okay, both. So who you have and who you want. You want both.
We have technology uncapable and we want technology capable people.
Okay, okay. So demographic wise, where does that fall for you?
We're in the older congregation crowd and we need some younger congregations.
Okay, great. So how to reach the different age groups? Okay.
Our kids, our youth are either Instagram or Snapchat is what they're on. They don't even touch. They put a Facebook page out there because grandma's on there.
Yeah.
But the majority of our church will probably be on Facebook.
Okay.
Because we have
Yeah.
moms, dads, and kids.
But that's kind of key though, because that's the thing I keep hearing is that youth, teenagers and young college are all about non-Facebook related because the older generation is on it. So
Yeah.
you want to reach the older generation with Facebook, the moms and the grandmothers who are going to share and whatnot, but you also have to find some way to specifically target your youth.
Right. Exactly.
I think a lot of churches, I mean, I know ours is, and from talking to other people, you know, we're all trying to find ways to reach that younger generation. Because that seems to be the lowest demographic in a lot of churches.
Yeah.
And by younger, you know, I mean, that could be 30s or 40s and on
Sure.
down.
The millennials, right?
But yeah, so, you know, having to go where they are,
Mm-hmm.
you know, basically, Facebook is great to reach, you know, my age and up, but, you know, to get the young ones, we gotta go where they are.
Right. Absolutely. So you want to look at the networks you need. So you want to be where your audience is. And, you know, I've run into a couple different churches or ministries that are like, oh, here's the newest, latest, greatest tool. We have to be on it. Not necessarily. No. You're going to stress yourself out doing that. Just because it exists does not mean that you need it. For example, Snapchat. You know, we ventured into, at my church, we ventured into possibly having a Snapchat for our youth group. But then you run into different things like, what if it gets inappropriate? What if something's sent? You know, it disappears. Like, how do you hold that accountability there? So there are a lot of different questions with that particular network that churches are still working through. So those are questions that you want to ask and questions that you want to make sure that you're aware of before you start a network. Other things to consider, what do you want people to do? Like, when you post something on Facebook or Instagram or wherever, what action do you want people to take? What does that look like for you guys, you think?
I know for us, we use it for like if we want to get something out quickly. Like recently, this last week, there was an injury to someone in a family member of the church. So we were able to put it out there immediately, get prayer going, and it got shared, and it went real quick to the people that it needed to go to. So we use it for that.
Yeah.
That's basically what we use it for, because we don't allow people to we allow them to post, but we have to approve the post.
Right.
So we don't get into that recipes and
Right.
everybody posts pictures
Keep it
of
relevant.
kids at camp, you know.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Let the youth director choose the pictures he wants posted, and then we approve that there's only certain people can post.
Right.
Because we don't want the entire congregation to go, well, how come my kids aren't there? Well, okay.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Based on your experience and encounter with the social networks, I think probably most of us in this room would use the Facebook probably more of an information for the congregation, a quick connect for the congregation. But is it a good platform to use as far as putting say the pastors in here putting sermons out there? Where would they go? I mean, are they just out in cyberspace? Are they landing somewhere? Or what do you say about that?
So are you saying to put
I mean, for information within the church, but also for
public consumption?
public. How does that work?
So something that we have started to build at the mission board, especially after Facebook's algorithm changes, we want our Facebook page to be a landing page. And then after that, we want to funnel people into our Facebook groups. So groups are where you get a little bit more intentional, a little bit more conversation. How many of you have heard of groups, use groups?
We have a public Facebook page where everybody can look at, and then we have several private groups that we share personal church information that we only want our members to know, that we don't want the entire community to know.
Right, that's exactly it. I think a lot of social networks is about funneling people to that end result. So for public, you know, you want them to see your information, your upcoming events, your community stuff. You want them to know when your next service is happening. And then hopefully you can funnel them into a more intentional group where maybe they come to your church, they start making those connections, and that can all happen on Facebook before they ever step foot in your church, which is kind of interesting too. It's an idea, possibility. And then from there, maybe they actually become a member of your church, but they're connected to people already. Like they already have that basis, that foundation. Does that make sense? Like the funnel idea? Yeah.
So, we haven't used groups that much.
Okay.
Some of the Sunday school classes have their own private group.
Mhm.
So is that kind of what you're talking about, is Sunday school classes, maybe women's ministry, children's
Yeah.
ministry, having groups?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We have one main group that everybody's in, and then children's ministry has their own separate group. Each Sunday school class, the music ministry. That way, everybody might not need to know what the music ministry is doing or what the children's ministry is doing because they might not have a child. So just split it up that
So
way.
y'all have a regular Facebook page and then a regular Facebook group for everybody, and then funnel it down from there? Okay.
See, what's so interesting about that is we've got a Facebook page for each
That's
individual
what we
group.
do.
And various people throughout the years have started them, and so I can't get half the contact information to manage it.
Yep.
They're all
We have a
disconnected.
social media committee. There's a certain amount of people on that, and they're the only ones with administrative rights to those groups. So other people can't just get on there and post what they want. It has to go through one of us first.
Well, what she's saying is anybody can start up a page and say,
Yeah.
I'm affiliated with Jefferson Avenue or whatever, and they start their own little page.
And
with
we
their
did
own-
have a few of those, but we reached out to them and said, hey, can you delete this so we can, I mean, you know.
So before any, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Before
Go
any
for it.
pages or groups are created, it comes through that committee first, and y'all are the ones who set it up.
Yeah, and one of us on the committee are an admin of each group. That way we can, you know, monitor what is posted.
That is exactly how the mission board has shifted. We had a lot of different pages set up for different ministries. So a couple of our ministries still have their own page because they're larger, have different kind of audience needs. But for example, our literacy missions ministry had its own Facebook page, and we've since started to transition them into a group. So when people land on the Georgia Baptist Facebook page, they have the potential of saying, oh, well, there's literacy missions, let me funnel into that. And we can share from the group onto the page to encourage people to get connected on those more intentional ministry side of things. Another one of our ministries is our men's ministry. They've started a Facebook group, and it's been going for about 2 or 3 months now. And they're doing the same thing, transitioning from the page, but it was all about making sure people kind of knew the standards of, you know, Facebook changes and what are the best practices now.
Do all of y'all start with Georgia Baptist Mission Board, then like happen whatever group it is?
I think our literacy missions is Literacy Missions Group. Georgia Baptist Men's Ministry is how we have that one. Our Sunday School Ministry is Georgia Baptist Groups. So we just make sure that the Georgia Baptist Mission Board is an admin in the group as a page, and then one of us from communications is an admin, which is normally me. So this is our Facebook page. Here, and I'll squat a little bit so people behind me can see. And under groups, these are all the groups that we've started and are working on. So this would be ideally the funnel, because, and I'll show you the communications ministry group. Oh good, people want to join, yay! And we're about to sue me. Okay. All right. But anyway, so this is the group, and when people join, like this is specifically for communications information, right? So you've just been funneled from the mission board down to a focus group. That's basically what it is. And that's really what we encourage, because every time you post into the group, all of the members can get a notification. Whereas if you post on your page, it may or may not reach them. Chances are it's not going to reach them. In fact, it was predicted when I looked, this was back in May, that the reach of your Facebook page was going to drop down to 0%. So unless you start purchasing ads, which that's not my go-to, I don't like purchasing ads. We do it sometimes, but you know. So unless you purchase an ad, or you've already got that really strong following of people who are going to comment, like, and share, your page isn't going to be seen. So that's a new challenge.
That's the boost your post. I mean, it's constantly, if you have a page, it's constantly asking, if you want your post to be seen, boost your post.
So you said the groups would be more visible?
Yes.
Even though there's a sub of the page.
Well, to that group.
Yeah.
To that group.
Right.
As long as you have the notifications
But as
turned
far
on in
as-
that group, you'll
As
get
far as public, trying
It
to.
won't be public.
Right, so that's the challenge there, is still getting people into the group so they'll get the
Hey,
notifications.
just got noticed. It just went away.
Yeah.
Somebody wanted to join.
Yeah.
So, can I, why is it that you don't like doing the ads? I haven't really done those much. Is there a reason, or is it just a, just personally?
For me, I see Facebook increasing ad rates.
Okay.
They're going to be more expensive. So we've already seen a jump in what it costs to reach like a local area. Like if we wanted to do an ad and target people in Macon, that jumped about $20 for us. And then if we wanted to expand that and to have an ad run for like 2 weeks, we were looking at like $100 more. So it's the cost for me. But you know, Facebook it can be very beneficial because you'll reach your people that you want, hopefully. But we just haven't seen the payoff from that.
So we've had success with it.
Great, okay.
With that Facebook ads. We did one for a Jeff and Sherry Easter concert, which they're bigger.
Yeah.
So we put that out there, and I focused it towards older generations, and I probably got 4,000 people in our local area, which was unheard of for our Facebook page.
Wow, that's great.
And then we turned around and we did our weekday preschool, trying to get our registration go up, and we saw next to nothing because there's no preschool in our area. And I think that's what it had to be, you know. But my thing that I liked about it was that I could go to the stewardship committee and say, we will only spend this number because you set the amount. I want to spend $36 to promote this concert for 2 weeks. Okay, no problem. So that was the advantage to it, being able to target a certain age group.
That's a good point.
So,
very
I
good
mean,
point.
I'm not promoting it for Facebook, but I didn't find success.
Well, see, I appreciate hearing those different insights, because sometimes it works and sometimes, you run into what we
use it
hit.
selectively.
Okay.
Like one of our last big things that our association did was a sports camp for kids going into first or going into sixth, between Facebook, our website, and I think maybe some ads that, or at least one ad that was put out. We had almost 300 kids that were registered for that camp.
That's great. So those are the kind of results that you want to see from social media, like posts. That's what you want to see. You want to see real outside growth. So I do want to hop back to, where's my mouse? Like setting up the networks themselves. So like you want to make sure you have your goals and what are your reasons for you using the platform, right? Is it because you need to reach a younger age group? Is it because it has tools that you can use on it? Like the live videos, for me, are a big plus. And then you want to know your audience, what platforms are they on, all of that kind of works together. But you also want to know who's going to manage your networks, who has access to your pages. If your team is scattered and you don't know who is going to post what when, that's where things get murky. So for me, I like to know, on our mission board page, I work with another lady, her name's Lynette, and we tag team post on the mission board page. So we know she's in charge of posting stuff from like outside. She posts on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. And that is that's her time. And then I will post different things on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So basically you want to make sure, who's your team? Is it you? Do you have time to maintain these networks? Don't stretch yourself too thin, because you can be stretched thin really fast when it comes to social media, and you want your pages to look good, right? A lot of times what I see on Facebook pages is or any social network, is you create it and you go strong for a couple of weeks, and then things get kind of busy, right? It's hard to maintain, so your content suffers. So it becomes like, well, let me just post this quick link. Let me just put this out here really fast. Well, then if that becomes all you're doing, then that's all people might see, and they're not going to engage with that. You have to have posts that are really engaging, unfortunately, especially for Facebook.
That's the problem I have, is because I don't actually go to the church of one of the Facebook pages I oversee.
Gotcha.
And I have a really hard time getting the church secretary to send me the weekly bulletins.
Right.
So that I can see what's in that week's bulletin,
Right.
to post, okay, there's a church supper to support the kids, whatever,
Right.
And the church pastor, who I'm good friends with, he doesn't actually, he could post, I don't think, he's not real computer literate, so it's like, I pull my hair out going, I can't.
You need content. Yeah.
I need
you need to know.
content for this, I need content for the slider on the website.
Right. It's really hard when there's a disconnect, for sure. Because you have to know what's coming up. Like, one of the main things that we post are events. Like, I go to our website calendar, and I normally will pull from there, and we normally have images already created, which we'll talk about making images later. But that's where I pull from. So if you don't have that, then
I don't want
it
to
makes it
keep,
hard.
posting, because I post our sermons to the Facebook every week, but I don't want to keep posting, Bible verses just to keep
It alive.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
it's great, but
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, you definitely want everyone on board.
yeah, I mean, I need a little lettuce and tomato and bacon in there.
Right. You definitely want to vary your content, absolutely. And next, something that has helped me, especially, is having a calendar for posting. How many of you use kind of like a schedule of posts? Okay, awesome. I do the same thing. I know, like, I actually have, I don't know if it's with me. I might have it with me, actually. I'm a very visual person. So I have paper, which, however you might feel about paper. But this was the easiest thing for me at the time when I pulled it out. I just I printed out a calendar, and I wrote out, August, go Georgia, and I can make a note of what needs to go on each day. So I have the different kind of content that'll go on all of our platforms. It's color-coded. That's what I do. But we also have 36 different social media accounts, right? So it's a little bit different there. But I love to schedule stuff out. That can be your best friend, especially if you don't have time. Like, it's a time management tool. We'll talk a little bit more about schedulers in a little bit. But the one that we use is called Buffer. How many of you have used Buffer, heard of Buffer? Okay, great. I think if you have one social network, it's free. And I think the cost goes up from there. I think we have like $10 a month to use Buffer, and it's majorly beneficial for us. Most platforms need to be posted to on a daily basis, especially if you have a Twitter. You want to post to that way more than once. You want to post to that one like 3 to 5, 7, 8 times in a day. And then on Facebook, it really depends on your audience. It depends on how much content you might have. We post daily, at least 2 times a day on Facebook. But if you've got that one solid post, that's all you need. You don't have to post more. Just because you post more does not mean more people will come. So you want to make sure that your posts are worth it when you do send them out, and that's true of any platform. So Instagram, make it a good picture, make it a good video, make it worth it. I plan the type of posts that I'll need each day. So, for example, we have a Trivia Thursday. So on Thursday, I make up a trivia question. I know I'm going to post that sucker on Thursday. Done. That's just kind of an example there. I know on Mondays, I'm going to share what Life of Purpose Radio is doing. I'm going to share a post from there. Done. You know, just something like that that kind of helps wrap your mind around, you know, especially if you have multiple networks going. And the biggest thing I think a lot of people miss, set goals for your networks. What do you want to accomplish? You can have the numerical goals, the quantitative goals. How many likes do you want by the end of the year? How many followers do you hope to have? In your groups, how many members do you want? On Instagram, we had a goal. Our Instagram was not posting as of last November, and then we decided to set a goal of 500 people, because at the time we had about 200. We hit that goal last month, and that was my goal for the whole year. So I have to move that goal. But that's the kind of thing that you want to have, those kind of goals in mind with a social network, to make sure that you're growing, you're expanding, potentially reaching new people who, again, you may never meet in person, but who may come to your church or come to an event and have that seed planted. Because that's really what we want people, that's the end result, right? We want to get people connected in some way with the gospel.
So you are saying that they should be liked, or they should be allowed into the group?
I'm sorry.
Are you saying that even if they don't come to the church, they should be members of the group?
Well, I would say, connect them first to your page, and then it's really at your discretion if they should be in that group or not. Like, if it's a preschool ministry group, you don't need everyone to join that group. So the good things about groups is that you can ask questions before they join. You can ask them to answer a question, and if they don't answer the question, well, automatically you don't accept them into the group, and you can send them a message telling them why. But if they answer those questions and you're like, okay, this person's legit, I can click on their profile and see who they are, you can accept them. But as you saw today, I just accepted everyone. I was just really excited about people joining the group. But I do have rules in place. Not anyone can just post, right? Mm-hmm.
So at the very beginning, you had the long URL with community groups, and
yes,
whereas the page is usually just a slash, maybe a church name.
Right.
Is it harder? Do you find out to share the various different URLs? You don't have little, the trend is to have tiny URL, something easy to remember.
Right.
As opposed to facebook.com/group/blah blah blah.
We haven't run into that too much, but our groups are also fairly new. So I'm sure that's a challenge that we'll face. Like, I could change that URL to say like facebook.com/group/com, something short, or CM. But I chose to spell out the whole shebang. Yeah.
Just adding that one little /groups, this is a Facebook requirement, that's one extra step.
It adds it in. Yeah. I think mostly what we do is email marketing, and so for us it's just a single click. But it is harder if you want to print like a URL on like a handout or a flyer or something.
Well, I like that someone said earlier, they asked you the question, is it all George Baptist this, George Baptist that? If you go in setting up, I was thinking about this with ours, you go in setting yours up, it's always Zion this group, Zion this group.
Yeah,
So
ours
every single one is
all
exactly the
starts
same.
with SMBC, because our church is Sweat Memorial Baptist Church, and that we shortened it SMBC, and then we'll have like a dash,
Right.
music ministry dash, children's ministry dash, youth. That way, when they just search SMBC, automatically everything pops up.
That's great.
It's a way
Absolutely.
to have the short, easy to remember,
Yeah.
and still say what it needs to say.
So really, you could say, go to Facebook and search Georgia Baptist Mission Board, and ideally, all of our stuff would pop up, right? So if you do have it in the descriptor and the link, yeah, that's a great point.
And you can be a member of the group without liking the page, or you have to
Yes.
like the page first?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
You can be a member of the
Just
group
have to
without liking it.
accept the
Yeah.
admin.
Here are a few quick daily actions to take, especially for those of you, like
Yep.
with time.
Yeah, it's still on the page.
Oh, oops, I'm sorry.
We haven't seen what you had behind.
Oh no.
It's okay.
Well, this was the last one, but well, you know, technology, right? So posting schedule, we're going to talk about that in a little bit more. Yeah, so we'll come back to some of that. Basically, set goals and make sure you have a plan for the type of post. All right. So quick daily actions that you can take. If people have commented on posts, respond to them. Facebook loves to see you respond. Don't leave a comment unresponded to, whether that's a quick like or a quick love. I love a lot of our comments, you know, because they're normally like praise or amen, you know. I love them. Okay. React to them. If people message you, definitely try to respond back to that message within 24 hours. Facebook loves that. The more active your page looks and appears, the better the chances are that people are going to see your page. You can go and you can like posts. Like if people have shared your content, go and like it as the page. You get notified, go and like it. On Twitter and Instagram, you want to scroll, you want to like posts, you want to retweet, you want to do all of that. You want to be active. Now, Instagram also changed its algorithm, and that's been kind of fun, right? So now, when you post on Instagram, only about 10% of your followers are ever going to see that post unless within the first like 15 minutes to an hour, a lot of people have responded to it and liked it. And then it'll share it with the rest of your followers. So that's another challenge. But one way to help that, Instagram somehow in its algorithm, it knows how long you spend on the platform. So if you're logged in as your church or as your ministry and you post and you get out, it knows somehow. It knows. It doesn't like it. It wants you to spend at least 15 minutes before scrolling, liking, commenting, then you post. And then spend 15 minutes afterwards scrolling, liking, and commenting. Okay. And that's actually, it's good because if, say, you post something and I like it, well, suddenly you see I'm on Instagram, what have I posted? So it encourages that kind of engagement, encourages that back and forth community. So Instagram has a little bit of the same call that Facebook did towards community and engagement. So for example, if you have a comment on a post that's only one word, Instagram's like one word. If it's 4 words, it's like, oh, that post was engaging. It likes it. So it's got all these crazy rules, and they're probably going to change before the end of the year's out. But that's just something you've got to be aware of too. So that's been fun to learn those different things on Instagram. We talked about answering direct messages, and you can also scroll through your scheduled posts if you use a scheduler like we do. Scroll through and make sure that they're scheduled when they should be, they look good, your images are not pixelated, that kind of thing, just as a check. So all of those are really quick things unless you get like a complicated question that you have to respond to, but just daily things that you can do. now's where the creativity and the fun side of things comes in, right? What kind of content, what kind of post should you have on your network? What should you post? Let's see. First of all, have fun with it. Like, have fun. Take risks. Take chances. Again, like I've said before, it is so easy to fall into a rut. It is so easy with a short caption or repeating the same content over and over. Don't do it. See what kind of different things that you can post. So here are some ideas, and maybe we can generate a few more in the room. What makes you want to respond to a post? So like if I put something on Facebook, what is it that I've put that you want to be like, ooh, I'm a like, I'm a share, I'm a comment on that? Ask those questions. And if you post something, you're like, would I comment on that? No. Rethink posting it, right? Here are some ideas, and we can talk through potentially more. Upcoming events. But why should people go to the event? Don't just post the event and leave. Why should people be there? What are you going to have there? Are you going to have a camel there? Are you going to have a monkey? Are you going to have a buffet? Like, what is it about the event that should draw people in? What are they going to learn there? What is the benefit of people being there? Questions of the day. Trivia questions. We do that. Trivia Thursdays, right? Did you know? Did you know that I go to Flat Creek Baptist in Fayetteville? Did you know that Flat Creek hit its whatever anniversary and it's coming up? We want you to join us on this Sunday. That kind of thing. You can ask questions, ask polls, like, do you read your Bible in the morning? Do you read it at night? Simple things like that that would get people to respond. Prayer ministry. So that was something that I think, I don't know your name, Brenda brought up. Post prayer requests. I mean, obviously have permission, especially if it's on the page. If it's in a group, it's a little different. Prayer requests, like, hey, we have a church member that has suffered this, or post praises. You know, we just hit our debt-free line. You know, whatever it might be. Encourage that kind of prayer. Yeah.
Is that a little dangerous? You know, you're going to say, pray for so-and-so, they have cancer, and you've just told health information to the world about somebody.
It can be, yeah, at your discretion. That's why I would encourage, definitely ask.
Yeah, I don't post anything without asking permission.
I probably wouldn't post their name regardless. Just to say, you know, be in prayer for this member of our congregation, if you wanted to do that. That's an option. The Alabama State Board of Missions, our neighbors next door, they have a prayer ministry where they do something similar. People can submit prayer requests, and there's a box for them to check, is it okay if we share this? Your name's not going to be shared. How, you know, what details can we share? And that's what they post.
It's different if someone says, pray for me. It's different if I put it on there about so-and-so has cancer.
Oh, definitely ask. Definitely. Because some things you don't want shared. You don't want shared. You can feature staff, church members, happenings at your organization, like when your seniors graduate in May. Recognize them. You know, say we're super excited about our seniors who graduated. That kind of thing. Bible verses. You can do daily devotions, thoughts of the day. Like, here's a Bible verse. Here's what we get out of it. What do you guys think? Always ask a question. Encourage people to respond. Live videos. Facebook loves live videos. They get, what are the numbers now? I can't remember off the top of my head. But live videos get probably more than 10% interaction compared to a video that you just uploaded from like YouTube or Vimeo. Live videos get way more interaction, especially because you can look at the camera and say, hey, comment right now. And there you go. So those are just some ideas. What would you guys add to that list? What are some things that you do?
We do events. We have a daily devotion.
Great.
That we post from MailChimp, and it goes straight to our Facebook page.
Okay.
We don't do the questions of the day or trivia. We do prayers from time to time, but happenings, I mean, we'll do those types of things.
Okay, great.
I put new members if they allow me to. I always ask them, because I go down front, I take a little picture, and I say, can I post this on our church's Facebook page? And we go nowhere else. And they say yes, and if they don't do it, and they say no.
That's a good idea.
That way the people, if they were not there Sunday, they know who just joined. And when I sit in my congregation, sometimes I go, who is that person in there? I don't even know it. I've been there for something 40 years. So that's one thing we do.
And that's one thing, you can encourage people, hey, when you see them around, give them a hug, give them a high five, say welcome. Great.
So we use the events to link them to registration forms on the website, or we use Constant Contact for an email outlook, and registration forms have quadrupled in the last year because of stuff like that. We're just trying to get people. We did our directory for online registration and our VBS, and it was a huge difference.
And that's part of the funnel, right? Funneling them to that registration.
Yes, yeah, I'll put it everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What about pictures of children at children's activities? What do you,
I recommend that your church has a waiver that before that child can attend that event, their parent guardian has said it's okay for you to take pictures of my kid. And if they say no, then do not take pictures of that child.
We do that on our registration forms. We have is it okay to take your child's photo? Is it okay to post this via social media, newspaper, etc.?
And then we just put a sticker on their name tag that if they don't want to sticker, don't take it at all.
There you go. Very nice. Now, if you're at a public event, and you take a picture of a child, it should be easy for you to say, hey, do I have your permission? Like, I just took your kid's picture, you're in it, can I post this? But I recommend having something written just for safety.
When we did the sports camp that I mentioned, part of that was a waiver saying, do I have permission to do that? And my dad actually went and took pictures on my behalf because of everything. Anyway, I was not privy to the fact that we had a waiver at the time, but my director still said we need photos, and so what we did was we took pictures from behind the kids. So you saw there were kids there, you saw what activity they were doing, but you really didn't see faces.
I've done that before too, and you can kind of blur, but still get a good idea of maybe if they're on the periphery of the action that you can kind of blur and then still focus in on.
Right.
And like she was saying with the name tags, one of the good things about doing shots from behind was I saw no name tags. Before I didn't have to go through hundreds of photos, blurring out children's names on every single one.
So last year we didn't have permission. This year we've got permission.
This year the director from the association that I work with said we need pictures, and so because I found out at last minute, I sent my dad to go on my behalf and said, here's the drill, this is what I need. And he wouldn't do it.
Great. And a good thing too about not necessarily taking pictures of faces is you get the action shot. So like if I were to take a picture right here of this room, you would see all of your lovely faces, but you're all just looking, right? But like if I got a close-up shot of your hand writing, that's an action. He's taking notes, right? Good information, right? That kind of thing. So that kind of plays into when we talk about images in a little bit, and that's actually our next topic.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
I understand all the getting permission. We do that with Bible school, but when y'all were going live, we've never done that. You don't ask for permission to do that?
Like if I were to take
Go live in the sanctuary?
Well, normally it's just of the stage, so you wouldn't see anyone's face who didn't know. I would recommend asking John Graham and go to that session because he's talking specifically about going live. So he would be able to answer that question.
I know some churches put signs up Or a thing
we're
in
gonna
the
be
bulletin
live.
Right.
that says,
Just
you
like
know, this
Yeah.
Saturday.
Now, we
Right.
did that for Youth Week. We did tell them that we are going to post Youth Week on the web. And because my grandchildren are generally the ones, if we cut just the worship part, are the ones that get showcased.
Gotcha.
And I was not gonna hear it, that, oh, it's your kids.
Mm.
Because the choir and stuff, you know, was youth. So we went to them and said, look, do you care if we, because it was not fair, you know, and they were fine with it. So, but before I did it, I asked.
Right. I mean, even just today, I did a short little video outside with our disaster relief volunteers, and I said, I'm going to walk around with a video, you're welcome to wave, you're welcome to say something, is that cool? And they were like, yeah. So they knew I was coming. So if you have a mobile video like that, where you walk in, that's a little easier to tell people you're coming than, you know, if it's just established.
I'm
But if
not
it's
live yet,
established,
but about to be.
yeah, I'm about to be live, just letting you know.
And
Like,
it's still very important getting the permission because anything you can say, we're only going to put this on Facebook. Anybody can get any image off of Facebook that they want.
oh yeah. And technically, when you post something on Facebook, it is not yours
Not your
anymore.
property anymore.
Yeah.
And that's very important to know.
That's the thing. Just because it's posted on your Facebook page
Right.
or your group, your friends see it and they share it to somebody else's and somebody else's
Right.
and somebody
And that's where
else's.
your groups protect you to some degree,
Right.
but it doesn't protect you
No,
overall. So
because
you should go
unless you
Sunday
hit the
school shot.
non-share button.
You got to have all that information.
Right.
Well, you hit the non-share button, then what's the point of trying to reach the community or something?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you run the risk of the church liability in just about everything that we do nowadays.
You can still
It's just
screenshot
not
it too.
safe.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
If you don't,
Definitely
even if you don't make it shareable, anybody can screenshot it.
Right.
Send it to anybody.
If it's out there, it's usable
Yeah.
and it's editable. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Anything can be changed.
Oh yeah. Yes, they can.
That's why we need those kinds of labor lawyers.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So image tools, you know, we're talking a lot about images here. Make sure your images are high resolution. You don't want them to be pixelated. That's an immediate turn off. And don't blur the pictures unless the faces need to be blurred. That's okay. So type of images that you would see, cover photos, profile images, event covers, promotion, all of those are different images you probably see. Instagram, you got way more variety because that's literally what the platform is about. It's all about visuals. If you use text on an image, make sure that it is readable. Thankfully, Instagram has allowed you to start zooming. You used to not be able to, now you can. Here are some tools that we have used or looked into that I can recommend for you guys. Photoshop, that's probably one of the most complicated tools on this list, but that's generally what I use. Adobe Spark is a little less complicated, still in the Adobe realm, and actually, if you go to the communications group, there is a blog post done by John Graham demonstrating how to use Adobe Spark. And that is one you can create email headers, Facebook posts, Twitter posts, postcards, newsletters, all kinds of tools up in there. That's great. Canva is the one that I would put at the top of, like, recommend right now. And I actually can show you a little bit what this would, where's my mouse? What this one looks like. Oh, hey, 2.0, that's nice. All right. So the cool thing about Canva, they do discounts for nonprofits. So that's pretty cool. You can also get an individual account free. If you pay, obviously you can use any image. If you don't pay, you can't use any image, but the images selection is still good. Still pretty good. So as you can see, you've got, let's see. If you create a design, you've got Instagram, cover photos, postcards, flyers, letterhead, specific social media section, documents, presentations like that you would drop into like PowerPoint, blogging, book covers. You've got all kinds of options here. And the cool thing is, if you were to select one of these, it will give you templates that you can work from. And you can edit the text, and you can edit the background colors.
This is what we've started doing with most of our posts. It seems like it's more interesting to look at that with text than words.
Right. Yeah. And you can also search. So like if you want a picture of happy children, boom.
Is that program a one-time fee or a monthly subscription?
I believe it is a monthly subscription. I believe it's monthly. But if you're able to register it as a nonprofit, I think the fee's a little different. So there are a lot of images on this platform that you can use. You can also get an account through Getty Images. Nope, didn't click. Hold on. There are a lot of images that you can find through Getty. Just standard stock image type stuff. So that's another tool you can use. But I do recommend, especially in like churches, that you have pictures of your church members. It's always cool to see like someone you know. It's more engaging instead of just someone from who knows where that you have no clue who they are. Again, permission, but yeah. Alright, do you guys have any questions about that? Any image questions? Okay. I'm going to remember this time. There we go. Alright, schedulers. So there are 4 schedulers listed here. Buffer, Sprout Social, Hootsuite, TweetDeck. Have you guys used any of these? Great. New. Okay. I highly recommend Buffer. That is the one that we use. Right now we do, I think it's about $10 a month. You can upgrade for more analytics and all of that. And I think they also do a discount for nonprofits where they cut it in half. Whatever that fee is, cut in half. You can add, I think with the basic account, you can have up to 10 accounts on there. So you can link your Facebook page, your Twitter, Instagram, all of that into the Buffer. Sprout Social is good, but it's expensive. So that's my qualm about that one. You have to pay per person who wants to use it. So like if you guys are on a team and you want to use Sprout Social, you would have to have an account, he'd have to have an account, and you're paying for both of y'all to do the same thing. So that's the iffy one about Sprout Social. Other people prefer Hootsuite to Buffer. I still prefer Buffer. And then TweetDeck is specifically for Twitter. So if you have Twitter, TweetDeck is one that you would want to use there. I do want to show you what Buffer looks like though, since that's what we use. Alright, so this is basically what Buffer looks like. You've got all of your accounts listed on the side here. And then you can plan out when you want posts to go. So like I could go in and add a tweet for 4 p.m. and say I'm going to use the hashtag. Did you guys know we have a hashtag for this event? Let's go Georgia 18. Okay, so I could send that right now. I can schedule it. Oh, that sucker's about to go. It's almost. You know what? It's okay. It's Twitter. Short, microblogging, right? It's good. Anyway, so you could easily do that. You can click here and say, I want to post to all of my networks at one time. And you can say, like, if it's an alert, like, for whatever reason, you've had snow or a lot of rain, church is closed, post it there and customize, and you can add to your queue, and it'll, boom, there it is. So that's, I recommend Buffer. And the cool thing is, this is also fairly new. Most schedulers would not link to Instagram. Like, you could schedule it, but it wouldn't post it for you. So you get an alert on your phone that says, hey, post this now. And that was, ooh, people have followed us. It's probably not going to be seen. Uh-oh. We lost internet connection. With Amigo. That's okay. Almost done. Alright. Let's see. Well, do you guys have any questions? You know,
Now, are you
No,
creating?
the notes are behind you.
I got a question.
yes, sir. Oh, there it is.
What is more effective, a website or Facebook?
I think they work together. Because now if people know to go to your website, cool. They can go, they could potentially Google and land on your website. But it's possible, like for me, I go to my social networks first to see, like if I want to visit a church, I go there first. I don't necessarily Google them to find the website first. So that's me.
Do people still look for a website?
Yes.
Organization?
That's the number
Legitimacy.
one place that
I'm
you
totally
can
out, and I do.
Yeah.
Because I was asked the other day, say, hey, y'all got a website or what? And I had to say Facebook.
I think that depends on age as well. I mean,
It does depend.
Well,
that's why I think
you were saying
have-
earlier that the 29 to 18 was Facebook, unless it's 65 or older. So that left a big window. So is that big window of
Well-
people still websiters?
Let's look at the rest of those demographics because those are actually pretty interesting.
See, I was listening, I remember. Give me a quiz on it later. There you go.
All right. Where's my mouse? There we go. Okay, this is, so while I don't recommend Sprout Social for a scheduler, I do recommend it for research and information because it gives a lot of good information. All right. Let's look. Is this the one I wanted? Yeah. Okay. So 88% of 18 to 29-year-olds use Facebook. 84% of 30 to 49-year-olds use Facebook. So while 18 to 29 is the most prevalent age group you'll find, 30 to 49 is right behind it.
Can you ask what percentage of people use websites or look at websites?
This is only for social media, so that would be a little different area.
Okay.
But we can.
Because that's what my question was
Yeah.
like you said, you go to Facebook first, and you said you went
I Google first.
Google.
If I'm going somewhere that I don't know.
Yeah, and that's what I hear more than anything else. If I hear you gotta have a website, it's gotta be top notch because people will, it will make or break people coming to your church.
Right.
Well,
Legitimacy
now,
to your business.
now Google's so powerful, I mean, you don't have to do anything with your maps, you don't have to do anything with that, it's automatic when you get it set up.
I had a couple ladies visit Sunday morning. I'm not sure why they were in East Point, but one of their sons ended up in the hospital. They were in a hotel, and they showed up Sunday morning as visitors, and I walked over and started talking to them after the service, and yeah, we found your website and saw what time, you know, it was easy to find and easy to use, and that's why we're here. I said, cool.
See, I think they work together.
I do too.
Like
We
you would
link them
post,
both.
post information from your website on that as part of your content. Post information from your website, like events, registrations, whatever it might be, to the Facebook page, and from your website, have a link to your Facebook page. So you could funnel them into those intentional groups.
So your website could say, for more information on this particular event, check out our Facebook page.
Yeah, all of them have the
Yeah.
links down at the
Link,
bottom,
right.
like you were just selected all of them. Most of those now have, you know, where you can do your links easily.
Right.
It's not,
Because
it's
it's
not
not
hard.
as easy to update your website every day or every week as it is your Facebook. You
Right.
can't post each individual thing that's going on in your church every day of the week on your website. That's just a lot of work.
Sometimes a web page is a better place to meet your pastor.
Yeah,
Meet
Right.
your-
It's more
staff,
of a general information.
Right.
learn the different
This is the
ministries.
choir,
Have a good
blah, blah,
calendar,
blah.
but
Yeah, but they do work well together.
Yeah.
One of the blind spots that I see with churches in our association is that they say, well, we don't want a website, we just want to use Facebook. And you go to their Facebook, and it tells nothing about when their services are.
That's a problem.
And they could have, but they
Right.
didn't.
Right.
And there's nothing on there, here's a picture of a party and a trip, but nothing about when to be there Sunday.
That
Right.
homepage is too easy to get changed, and then it's forgotten.
Right. So I definitely think they can work together. Yes.
Not to hijack, because I know it's a social media, but they're also, Google is requiring SSLs for websites for their search ranks now.
Yeah. And that's something to consider too with a website. You want to make sure that you have you all heard of search engine optimization, SEO? You want to make sure that your website, when people do search, that it pops up in the top results.
How do you do that?
A
Without
lot.
buying, you
Yeah.
pay for it, right?
Well, so what we do, we use a couple of free tools called Yoast SEO, and it lets us YOAST. Yeah, and so that's what we use. Basically, we go into our website, we make sure that we have keywords, and those keywords would be like, well, for the mission board, Georgia Baptist Mission Board, Georgia Baptist, that kind of thing. So if anyone searches Georgia Baptist in Google, we want our website to pop up at the top. If it's not popping up in the top, there's work that we've got to do.
Just good keywords.
Good keywords. And Google also looks at your social media interaction too.
Yeah.
So the relationship is definitely important for
Like the ratings, like somebody, hey, well, how would you rate this? And somebody says a 5-star.
on
Or,
Facebook.
or on any of the things that, like a web page or Facebook, or I had received something, I think, from Google at one time, that if somebody was doing a search and you wanted to pop up, that your ratings, so to speak, well, how was this easy, 5-star or whatever, and the ratings would help you
Oh yeah.
get it up there.
Yeah. People, have you guys heard of Yelp? Yelp. Google has its own ratings. People are more into the review the site, review the business, review your service now, probably more than ever. And that's where your customer service comes into play too, especially on Facebook. But specifically for Google rankings, I would say you want to make sure that it's optimized. And that's actually something that Barry Dollar.
I was watching live,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
it's like-
she is not giving me a shout out. The next section, 7:15, is about what y'all were talking about now.
I saw the comment pop up on the live thing, but we were just talking. We were talking. Yeah, so this is Barry Dollar. He's going to be presenting at 7:15 to talk specifically about websites.
About web.
Yeah.
And SEO and,
And
Google.
SEO.
I heard Google come up. We're going to
Yeah.
talk about all that.
So that's
okay,
where
I'll
I
leave you alone now.
Oh, you're good. You can stay. You're good.
just popped up.
I'm glad you came in because it popped up, but
So just posting stuff on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, in and of itself is not adequate. If you don't do a lot of if you're not active on that website also,
Yeah, keep that there.
I've got to still, I can't post it and leave it alone till next week.
no.
Yeah, you still got like every day, post and like and add and change.
Right.
So if I'm not active, nobody else is going to see it probably.
Right. Especially on Facebook pages. So one thing I have heard, there's a rumor, there are a couple of bloggers who will tell you that if you post on your Facebook page and you say, hey, share this post, that Facebook is like, ugh, they're asking people, they're digging for stuff, I don't want it. There's not a lot of proof behind that, but there are ways to ask for comments and shares without being like, comment now. So again, asking those engaging questions. So if you post something with information and say, hey, did you go last year? What do you recommend about this event? So for example, if we were to post something about next year's Go Georgia 2019, say, if you were there last year, let us know what you thought. Or what is one word you'd use to describe this event? Or what are 3 words that you'd use? You're asking a question, but you're not saying comment. You know, you're not giving people a directive. So that's a way kind of around that, if that's a truth.
Kind of like having that used to say, click here to do this. They don't like that. Like, put the link in the name in the link. Don't say, click here for this event.
Right.
Yeah,
The link is the event, you know?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Just briefly going back to the website thing, I want to share that Google your own church.
Yeah.
Because we had pictures that someone had connected as ours that were not even our church.
Oh.
It was a completely different location, everything.
Oh no.
And it took almost 3 months to get Google to move them and put one of our actual pictures on there. So.
Yeah, I've been working for
Yeah.
2 years to get our channel.
Yeah.
Wow.
Google your own church.
Okay. That's good advice. For sure.
Thank you for a great job.
Oh, well, I hope it's been beneficial. I hope this information will help. So I'm gonna remember this time again. Okay, so I'm gonna plug this again because all of the people in the communications and technology sessions at this Georgia event are in this group. I highly recommend it, especially if all of you are very having to do technology stuff like this for social media, websites, video, or audio. That's one of our sessions as well, taught by Rod Hampton. Join here, ask questions. I highly encourage it. Not only because I want to see the group grow, but because I think when you ask questions and you start sharing ideas like this, and you get that feedback, you know, I can only know so much, but together we can know a whole lot more. So that's really what I'd love to see happen with that group too. All right. Well, I'm here. I'm going to be running around with probably my phone and that handy thingamajig that if you come to John's session tomorrow morning, you'll learn more about. But I'll be here, so if you guys have any more questions, any more thoughts, anything specific, you find me. I'm here. So, is there anything else I can think of?
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
We have a Facebook page, very simple. Only 2 people work on it. But there's another church of the same name in Missouri. They post every day something, and the name is exactly the same, but their picture's different. And I've actually talked to them on the phone because we got some mail for them or something. But you know, that's when you search, is that what do we need to do to just make sure?
I would are you in different cities? So I would recommend have your church name and say at city or in city. It's not ideal, but with the church of the same name, that's an option.
The title of
as
the
the
page?
title of the page, yes ma'am.
Okay.
We have a similar situation.
Okay.
2 churches, same name, half a mile apart.
Oh,
Interesting. Interesting. But we were founded in 1808, so we just put our church name 1808. So that's the distinction between the 2. And one was born out of the other many years ago. So it's interesting.
Yeah. It can definitely be a challenge because being seen in a world where everybody wants to be seen can be really hard. And that's what social networks is asking for your attention constantly. So that's the challenge that we'll face, that was constantly face. All right. Well, that's about it.
Friendship camp.